Hello everyone and welcome back. My name is Ben the Bold and this is Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. So, in our last episode we did this, defeat the semi-dreadnought, where we built a battleship and, well, we built a lot of battleships. It took several tries, but we tried to destroy a semi-dreadnought. That was a tough one. Hopefully today's will be a little bit easier. Today we are going to be raiding an undefended convoy. We're going to just, we have to sink, 10 transport ships. And we can either build a heavy battle cruiser, a heavy cruiser, or a light cruiser. We're going to have a lot of money to do so. I think what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to opt for more funds, and I'm going to try to build just a large fleet of light cruisers. We'll at least see if that works out to begin. Alright, I think this is the boat we're going to start out with. This is a French light cruiser. We're actually going to be able to build 8 of them, which is huge. I think they're going to be relatively fast. I have them at 24 knots, although I just have standard funnels, so we'll see about their engine efficiency. Their main armament are going to be these 6-inch guns, and I do have a couple, just 3-inch casemates. We'll see how well these do at actually sinking anything, but I do think they're going to do quite a bunch of damage. Plus, I'm going to have 8 of them out there to really do, really beat up on these transport ships. I'd have just increased my reloading speed as well as, done a few things over here. I really went for this Krupp armor too, just to go ahead and take down that armor weight so that I could build more of these things and make them a little faster. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. Let's see what happens. Okay, and look at all these light cruisers. I have gotten a message saying that smoke has been spotted on the horizon, and indeed, I've just made my first contact. I have 8 light cruisers, and they only have 10 ships. They are all going to go ahead and open up. We are, of course, going to try to close distance as rapidly as possible. Here we are, almost 10 minutes into the scenario, and while I'm feeling very confident on my ship's ability to sink all these boats, I have actually only really done heavy damage into 1 or 2 of their vessels. Meanwhile, I was wrong. It does look like they can shoot at me, so I took all of these light cruiser's armor down to practically nothing. So I might actually take more hits in this than I should. And unfortunately in this, I really did skimp on the armor, so I've actually lost one of my light cruisers to a bunch of transport ships. That's not gonna bode well. I would be pretty upset about this if this was campaign. Of course, I'm not super worried about it, as if I fail, I'm just going to build some more. And would you look at that, it looks like I'm actually going to lose another one of my light cruisers. But the ship that took it down looks to also be in dire straits. It's around this time when I realized that there were a couple transports just trying to run away. Looks like I just got another sinking message. That's not great. But as I said, it looks like a couple ships are trying to run away. I'm going to chase it down with this light cruiser. Hopefully it will be enough to sink these 2 ships. It appears that we might get a torpedo hit here. We'll see if it actually hits, though. I think it's just going to barely clip the rear of their ship, and boom, that's going to be huge. Hopefully that's going to cause them to sink rather quickly. We need them to go ahead and sink so that we can focus fire some more of our concentration on the Beowulf. But I'll tell you what, with only a minute 15 remaining in the scenario, we really need this torpedo to hit, and I think it's just going to miss. I think they just dodged it. Yes, they did, which means... Oh, but it doesn't actually matter because the Beowulf is going to sink anyway. Let's look and see where we are. With a minute left, we have 2 more ships to sink, but we unfortunately are going to lose one of our light cruisers. I don't think we're going to succeed. I think they are going to be able to escape. And honestly, we took way more damage than I would have liked. Indeed, we did actually fail that last challenge. I am going to go ahead and try again. This time I'm going to take a completely different approach. I'm actually going to come back and I'm going to change this to guns and fire control. Let's go ahead and actually build a battle cruiser this time. We're going to build a nice big battle cruiser. See what we can do. It's going to have a huge top speed. Hopefully it's just going to be able to rip through the smaller, very lightly armored transports. I'm still going to focus mostly on firepower. I think a big mistake that I made in the last episode, or the last try, was just I I ended up taking all the armor off of my light cruisers. I didn't think these transports were really going to present much of a problem as far as firepower, but I didn't consider the fact that they would be armored transports, so I actually ended up losing a lot of my light cruisers. Maybe if I had not have lost my light cruisers, I would have been in a much better situation. But anyway, this time let's try to build a battle cruiser. Okay, and this is actually the battle cruiser that I have decided on. I'm not sure if this is the best design for this particular mission, although I think it's just a really cool design. I did go ahead and just go with triple turrets, triple 9-inch turrets. They are not super accurate. Well, they're pretty accurate, and I was able to actually superimpose the forward turrets, so that's going to be exciting. I only have 2 secondary guns, where really they're 4-inch barrels, just 2 on each side. I have kind of bristled the superstructure with 2-inch guns. They just kind of are everywhere up here. In fact, maybe, and I might think about if I don't succeed here, changing it up and building a battleship with just a big superstructure with a whole bunch of smaller caliber guns. But let's just see what happens. I did leave some armor on. I did get as many like reloading buffs as I can. For instance, the auto reload and everything. There are no torpedoes. They weren't super effective for me. I'm going to just try to blow all of these transports out of the water with my 9-inch guns, which should reload every 16 seconds, so that's going to be great. Let's give it a shot. I think one thing that I really like about this battle cruiser is that its top speed is 30 knots, which means it's going to be able to close with these boats very, very quickly. Hopefully that will give me a huge advantage and make sure that none of them are able to just luckily run away, as we've had a couple light cruisers do in episodes past. I'm just going to go ahead and say it as I have another salvo come in and hopefully just do a ton of damage. Optimizing the guns seem to have been a really good choice because I am hitting just pretty much, well, I'm hitting pretty much everything that I'm firing with those big 9-inch shells. I'm going to go ahead and change my fire to the lead transport. As I watch one more salvo come in, hopefully that will do a lot of damage. It does up here, so they're going to take on some flooding. They're also on fire. It looks like this armored transport has put out its fire, so we may concentrate more fire on it very shortly. Here we go. You can see I have actually sunk one of their cruisers. I am well on my way to sinking another. This battle cruiser does not seem to care at all that they are firing some light shells at us. It has a insanely high hit chance. I think it's got, yeah, an 85% chance to hit every shot it takes with its big guns, so that is turning out to be very good. Let's go ahead and turn it about so that maybe I can get some of these rear guns into the action. Here we have moved our battle cruiser very, very close to their boats, and you know what? It just doesn't seem to matter. Their guns cannot penetrate, and I am still getting hit after hit, but these two just refuse to go down. I am noticing that a lot of my rounds are just over-penetrating. I did go ahead and change to the high explosive, so that maybe they wouldn't penetrate as far. It looks like I've taken some damage to my secondary tower. That's fine. I mean, I have to say that my battlecruiser is highly effective at destroying these transports. It's just not doing them quite fast enough. It is extremely accurate, and it is just powering through. It's hitting almost every shot it takes, but it is not. Most of my shells seem to be just going right through the transports. They're just I'm getting these over-penetrating hits, and that's making them kind of incredibly hard to sink, at least for now. So once again, we ended up failing because we just ran out of time. I know that battlecruiser could have just circled them and sank all of them, assuming I at least had enough ammunition. But it seemed like I was just out. I was over-penetrating. So even though my ships were very accurate in their firing, they were just over-penetrating, and I actually had more luck with my just kind of swarm of light cruisers. So I might try the light cruiser swarm again, just instead maybe get a few less, optimize my guns and fire control, and hope, and not just tank their armor. Hopefully they won't be able to do near as much damage. So let's just try that. Okay, and this time I've decided to build a little bit longer, a little bit faster light cruiser. Its main armament is going to be 6-inch guns. It does also have a couple 3-inch casemate guns, both in the front and the rear. I didn't just completely do away with its armor. It has 2 inches of armor, so it's still going to take some damage from the light guns that are going to be facing us, but I think it's going to be able to dish out a lot more damage. Unfortunately, I am only able to build 4 of them, Although, yeah, I'm only going to be able to build 4 of them. I wonder if I can make them a little faster. No. So, really, I know that this isn't the most efficient. For instance, my weight is only 4,600 tons, and out of the 7,000 tons I have available, I did that just so that I can increase the length. That may or may not be a good idea. But, hey, this is all about testing it out. Let's go ahead and give it a shot. This doesn't bode well because here we are 5 minutes into the scenario. So we are a fourth of the way done with the scenario, and we have finally just now found our first ship. We are almost halfway done with this scenario, and we have only sank 1 ship. We'll see if this was actually a good idea to only bring 4 of these light cruisers or a bad idea. We've sunk several of their vessels at this point. We are actually looking pretty good. I'm a little worried about the time, but so far we're doing pretty good. I did have one of my light cruisers just kind of decide to sail out. It actually, what happened was it decided it no longer wanted to be second in line and actually third in line, so it actually turned away for quite a while, and when it did that, it stopped shooting. So I actually think that we should be in a little bit better situation than we are in, although it's going to be okay because I think we'll have enough time to do this in 5 minutes. Alright, now it's just a race against the clock. We have exactly 1 minute, or just under 1 minute, to sink this last transport. It doesn't look to be in good shape. We're going to continue to pummel it, but still with only 45 seconds, I am a little nervous. Let's see what happens. Okay, and with only 22 seconds to spare, we did sink their last ship, which means we are successful. We have completed the mission. This one was actually a lot of fun. I know it took me a couple tries. It turns out building just a couple light cruisers, just making them a little more heavily armored than the first series of light cruisers I made, actually seemed to work out a little bit better. I had a lot of fun building the battle cruiser, though. It was so satisfying to watch that thing just lay into the vessels from afar. I might have actually tried to do the battlecruiser again, but maybe use some bigger guns, see if they were maybe... I know that they'd be a little less accurate, but we were very accurate anyway. And just see if bigger guns could have done the job as well. Anyway, that was Undefended Convoy Attack. Next time, we will be taking on a heavily defended convoy. Once again, we'll be building a battlecruiser or a series of light destroyers. But looks like they are going to have 2 battleships to oppose us. This one should be a ton of fun. I can't wait to try it, but we will have to wait for the next one. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you do, be sure to hit that like button. If you didn't enjoy it, you can hit the dislike button. That's okay too. And if you want to see what happens when we attack an armed convoy, go ahead and subscribe so that you get the video whenever it comes out. It should be out in the next day or 2. I hope you're having a great day, and I will see you on the next Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts.